be talking about dehydrating celery. And I have a celery stock that I have purchased from the grocery store. And trust and believe, this celery looks like it has been rolled in dirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wash up this celery because we're going to be dehydrating the leaves. And then I'm going to cut this bottom part out because this part I'm going to be planting in my garden so I can start some more celery. Oh yes, you can. You can cut the bottom of a celery stalk and you can put it in some soil in your garden and it will grow you some more celery. Alright, so let me get this celery washed and I'll be right back and we'll start dicing and chopping this up and putting it into our dehydrator. Alright, let's get this celery cleaned. You guys, as you can see, I have cut the bottom part of the celery off and we're going to plant this in the garden, this side down in the dirt. And then I have washed all the celery stalks, including the leaves of the celery stalk. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut them up and we're going to put them on our dehydrating trays. So come on, let's get this celery dehydrated and let's get to making us some celery seasoning. Are you with me? Come on, you know you want to make some celery seasoning. I know I do. And it's another way of adding more seasonings into our collection of already homemade seasoning mixes. All right, let me bring you on down so we can get all this celery cut up and put in the dehydrator. I'm going to put all the leaves over in one section. Cut this part off. Put the leaves in one section so we can keep those all in the dehydrator together. So let's cut these up and I'll cut a few and then I'll show you how I'm going to put them on the dehydrator. See, this is mine, and my dehydrator has 6 of these, so I'm just going to lay them on there, all over them. Cut it up, easy peasy. Don't have to be, I just don't make them like super thick. You just want to cut them into nice sized pieces. If you have any string, I always just pull that off and put it to the side and keep on chopping because we want to get these celery into the dehydrator and get this celery made into some wonderful seasoning. You could either use this make seasoned celery salt, or you can make it powder, and I'm going to do the powder. And because I'm going to put some of this in like my smoothies, and if I'm cooking with making soups, sprinkle some of this on my salad or whatever I want to have that celery flavor to it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to chop up this celery so you guys don't have to watch me do this part and get it on all my dehydrating trays. And then I will come back and show you what the dehydrated celery looks like and how we're going to use our food processor to grind it all up and make it into some celery powder. Alright guys, let's get to going making this celery seasoning. Guys, so I got all my celery all cut up, and the celery leaves, I have chopped them, and I have loaded up a tray of the celery on my dehydrating tray. But to save some time, I already dehydrated some celery so you guys would see what it looks like from the beginning stages of dehydrating and the actual finished product. Alright, so you ready for step 2? Let's get this celery seasoning going. Okay, so all my celery leaves, as you can see right here, have dried out and they are ready to be blended up in my food processor. And this is what the celery stalks look like after we chopped them up into those big pieces, and now they have shrunk down to bite-sized pieces. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take all the celery and we're going to put it in this bowl, and then we're going to put it in this food processor right here. So let's start taking these celery leaves and putting them into this bowl. And then I can use those racks for when I put all my other celery that I just cut up a few minutes ago, and I can put them in this dehydrator so I can get my second batch of my celery pieces together. So excited about doing this celery and making it into a powder, because when I grow my celery this season, like I said, I want it to be all stocked up. And see how it's all nice and crunchy? That's what you want. And these ones that look like sticks are the pieces, you know, when you cut the celery and they have them little stringy parts. That's what this is. So let me continue and get all this in this bowl, and then we'll come back and we'll be ready to put it in the food processor. Guys, we have all our celery from the dehydrator in our bowl, and if you guys don't have one of these, I got this from the $1.25 store. Well, they used to be $1 before it went to a $1.25 store, and the reason why I use this is because when I'm emptying my dehydrator trays, if anything falls through the trays, they will land on this cutting board, and I can just pour them into my bowl. Easy peasy. So let's get all our pieces into our little mini KitchenAid food processor. And these, since I didn't have a lot, because you know when you dehydrate stuff, it may look like a lot when you put it in the machine, but once it dehydrates, nope, it shrinks down to almost nothing. So let me put the top on it. And I'm going to pulse it for a little while so it won't be too noisy. And then I'll come back and show you what the final product looks like. Alright, are we ready? Here we go. And I always put my hand over the top because it makes powder, and it will, all the powder will come out the top. And you don't want to have that all over the place. Alright, I'll finish grinding it up and I'll be right back. My celery powder is all blended up. Let me show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like when it's all blended up. I like a little bit of the big chunks in there. And this is what it looks like. Let me show you. See? So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in our little celery seasoning jar. We want to make sure we get every bit of this seasoning mix. Telling you, you cannot go wrong with making your own seasoning. And trust and believe, this season, Miss Renee's dehydrator is going to get a serious workout. I'm already did my bell pepper seasoning. Now I'm working on my celery, because I want to have lots and lots of powders. And like I said, every little residue that is caught, that falls out of my food processor, goes right on this little splatter screen, I call it. And see how the seasoning gets caught up in the top? That's why I put my hand in there. So I usually just tap it on my little cutting board, plastic cutting board, to get all those seasonings out of there. And then I just put that right on in to my little jar. Nothing goes to waste over here in Renee's garden. Trust and believe, it's all gonna go in this jar. Alright, so that is how we made our celery. So let me put the top on it and then show you the finished product. See, for just 2 stalks of celery, once it gets dehydrated, look at that. Looks good, right? All right, let's take a close-up look at it. Let me come over here so you guys can really get a good look at this seasoning. Alright, you guys, so here is my first batch of my celery. Like I said, you can make celery salt. You can just leave it like this and put it in your smoothies, salads, soups, whatever you want. But this is what I'm going to be growing in my garden, because I'm going to take that piece of the bottom of the celery that I cut off, and I'm going to plant this in my garden. And this is going to grow me some more celery stalks that I can turn into celery powder. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this content, you guys know what to do. Just hit that subscribe button, share me out, so I can inspire other gardeners to get into the seasoning game and get out there and start making some seasonings of their own, and you can cater this seasoning to your liking. That's what I like, because if I don't want salt in here, I don't have to put salt. I put whatever I want in this seasoning blend, and that's what I love to do. Create my own special blends that I know when I add this to any type of food, it is going to be delicious. Look at your girl over here sweating, because I've been working hard in this kitchen trying to get these seasonings together. Alright guys, have a wonderful day, have a blessed day, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Get out there. If you can't grow it, go buy you some celery out of the store and make you some wonderful celery seasoning. Alright guys, take care.